more they know what's going on a little bit more, and I think that's going to help them a lot here against a TEAM1 that's going to make it extremely difficult. 4-2, you say is your prediction. I'm going to back you on that as well as we get this series going. A best of 7 between RFN in the blue and TEAM1 in the orange as Seabass puts one in. Win side for first 5 seconds.
Well, here's the thing. When two commentators agree within the Rocket League space, usually that does break the universe, and within 4 seconds, it's a back-breaking shot from Simas. Really nicely placed, actually. Finds that bottom corner almost perfectly. Awful start for RFN, but then again, kickoff goals do just happen, and here's Rizex trying to put through a second, nicely defended away by Rexo.
Rexo, the Danish Dynamite, on the back lines of RFN, is going to be tasked a lot with that duty against an offense that's surely going to be firing on all cylinders here for TEAM1. But if all of you are wondering, why is Simas playing a silly dude 37? He tries to be faster than everyone else. He feels fast with that name, but he's not quicker than the German Wonder Kid. He's not quicker than Neon.
Yeah, his name is Neon, and Simas very much looking like a deer heading straight into the headlights of an onrushing car, just completely blinded by the trajectory of both the player and then ultimately where the ball was ending up. A really strong response from RFN, and it goes to show that this team mentality, it is real, and hey, Rocket League is a team game. The individuals might be able to do something special. It's not necessarily going to win you the series, though.
We've seen it at the most recent World Championship, Relic, haven't we? Where it's less about the eye perspective in team. It's about the entire unit, taking yourself back for the pleasure and for the success of the entire squad. We're moving towards that meta. It's no longer about who can 1v3. It's about who can play the most cohesively. As there are fakes and whiffs all around, Rexo and Fabso not in agreement of who should take that shot. They're blocking each other. It's just chaos in the orange half.
It's time for John to hand over the referee keys because I have to take away their team card. Egregious error, but they're not punished for it, which is at least good news for RFN. And to be fair, it's optimism and optimistic plays, which I'm loving to see, but that's not so much optimism. That is terrible defending, and Rizex 45 is going to prey upon those mistakes.
Beach is quicker than Rexo, who doesn't take the challenge and then falls back, but unfortunately for him, he just doesn't make contact with the ball. It's just as though both teams know what's at stake, and both teams know that a top 4 placement for them is very possible. And within these first 1.5 minutes, they're just feeling the pressure. Let's see who can get themselves back into it, into a more regular mode quicker. As of right now, it seems to be Team 1.
Here's Rizex, midfield line, looking infield. Backboard defended by Fabso, but that's a lovely lift in by Speed. Neon can't go far. But really nice. We talk about Germanic feel. A real nice Gegenpress here coming from the side that we're not exactly expecting the Gegenpress from. 3 minutes left on the clock. And they're stuck in their own half, RFN. They've got to try something different.
Been stuck. Seamus and Speed is going to combine to make sure that that feeling holds a little bit longer. Rizex, smart 50-50, delays it against Neon, who deals with it beautifully, though. It's Team 1 pressing and pressing. Right now, no way through the brick wall. Back for RFN. Now Fabso. Laterally across, Neon. Rexo having to cover for him. The pass not coming to his desired target.
I tell you what, the lack of goals really isn't a worry. They should have had a third via Simas just there. Maybe a third will still be on the way. It's Rizex around the corner. Now Simas looking to throw back centrally. Speed has to redirect this onto the backboard. It's unrelenting. And there it finally is. RFN drowning in the sea of shots.
Cracks starting to form in the armor as Rexo and Fabso once again double committing, leaving the net wide open for Rizex. 3-1 and a nervy start for RFN is going to get even nervier now. With T1 finding confidence, finding placement on their shots, and finding the way through their opponent's defense.
Simply have to play smarter, or, and I do mean this in the nicest way possible, just hit the ball really hard. The clearance has to be a lot better, and that's certainly not again. Oh, RFN a chance to at least bring it back to a 1-goal lead. Not on this occasion. How about Neon? Lovely double tap. Rizex reads it well. Here's Fabso. Another shot straight towards net. There was a tentative bounce by Neon, but Speed is there. The transition now in action. Rizex. Simas! Oh, far post shot. Beautiful 4-1.
And look at the fake there in this middle from Speed. We've seen it so much during Game as 8. The fake just throwing off the defender completely. Fapso didn't know what to cover, the shot or the pass down. In the end, Simas coming through with the shot and the 4-1 here. In favor of the T1. RFN having an absolute howler of the first game.
It's a real shame as well, because it's a howler not necessarily in the sense of, man, these people really can't compete it. They've got the opportunities and they're just not taking them. That is an open net. Massive overcommit from Simas, or perhaps expecting a little bit more from his teammate on the side. I mean, Rizek, that goes sideways. I don't know what Speed's doing. Cue in Danny Boy saying, of course, that's what Speed was doing. That's just Speed. It's 2 goals. It's 90 seconds. Not impossible for RFN.
Not impossible, but maybe a tiny bit improbable with how they've been playing, but they seem to be finding their footing. Neon with a good demo after the kickoff. Rexo just lurking down below, making it difficult for the defense to find any meaningful clear. They do so at the end of Fapso's bad touch. Simas drives the ball down the field, and now we get to see same old, same old. It's pressure, pressure, pressure mounting. But that's a brilliant touch from Rexo to relieve that pressure.
Genius flick, but they've got to stop meandering on the ball. Lovely demo in the midfield via Simas. It's a bit of a mix-up, but Rizek ultimately continues his progression forward. Stopped by Fapso. Gets it past Simas. Another huge step up the field. And thankfully for him, Speed was in the right position. But lovely pass to Fapso, and that's just a little too much of a slice. Redirect on target, 4-3. Very different game for the final 40 seconds.
Very different game, and right now it is Simas to put it to bed. 3 goals the lead. Speed and Simas are gonna make RFN pay for their sloppy offense.
Yeah, yet again, it's just a complete turnaround. And it's not just a sloppy offense, it's the sloppy defense as well. It's literally like applying a hairdryer to a chocolate Santa Claus. No matter how majestic it might look initially, it's gonna melt, and it's gonna look pretty terrible once you're done with it. 30 seconds to find 3 goals. Now that surely is impossible. That's a nice save from Fapso, but a little too late in the day. It's time to go again for game number 2.
Time to go again, and time for RFN to really think about how they want to approach it.
Yikes.
That's not how they want to approach it, surely. Simas with his 4th of the game, and Relic, you had questions about Simas before we started the series. Has he adequately answered them?
He is doing very well, given the situation in front of him. I think that he is playing as well as he can do, given how poor RFN have been on the defensive. And I mean, that was really case in point right there. Neon, an incredibly talented player in his own right, but you can see the lacking of confidence when you're facing that position. He's just sitting there and watching the light show in front of him, when really he should be proactively looking to intercept what is surely going to be a pass, because there's no way that the shot can actually arrive from the angle at which he's arrived on the scene. It's easy for TEAM1 in the end. RFN architects of their own downfall, but with that comes a silver lining. Clean up the act, and you can absolutely make the series a lot more competitive.
Well, thankfully for RFN, it is a best of 7. So yes, they do get afforded that time, but they can't let the stats look like this ever again. 15 shots in favor of TEAM1, just the 7 out of RFN. It's a complete curb stomping in game 1. Yes, as you say, due to RFN's own mistakes, but really these mistakes, they can only happen in this game 1. It's what you're going to say in ranked. Warm-up. But now that warm-up needs to stop.
Yeah, I think a lot of their issues stemming not even just from the poor shot stopping necessarily. You know, they were under pressure for a long period of that game, or should I say long periods. I mean, we're looking at 30 seconds to 60 seconds under the cosh, usually resulting in a goal. And that ultimately comes down to RFN not clearing the ball properly. And I understand the desire to keep possession and to move out at a calm and leisurely pace, but this team isn't working like that. TEAM1 is all about the in-your-face action, because they know that they're going to concede goals down the other side. And so how can RFN counter that? Go for the hard clear, and then set up what you want to do at the midfield. Throw it back in their faces, and maybe we'll start to see TEAM1 under pressure.
TEAM1 plays incredibly far upfield, though, as well, in order to sustain that pressure that they're trying to build. So the long clear, sometimes it is just that easy, as sometimes you have to hit the ball just really, really hard. And let's see if RFN can take that mantra, pioneered in the past by Shogun, I believe, to get some success here in the series. In game number 2, as we load onto it, Rexo getting bumped away, long clear, not finding its mark.
Yeah, certainly a good indication as to how this series can go from here on out, though. That backball completely undefended because of the nature of how Team 1 likes to play. They're now in the driver's seat, in field, and Rizex isn't going to bite on this one. It's a lovely 1-2 pass, and Neon doesn't sneak in underneath the crossbar. Neither does Fabso, but fortune favors the bold. He gets a second touch. 1-0 RFN.
The reigning serial world champion does it a bit too complicated, but he does it in the end anyway. Good start for RFN here in game 2 as they try to bounce back from what would have been disappointing to us and surely disappointing to themselves. Rizex, Speed, and Simas now, they might find an evolved form here of RFN. Simas goes to the skies, takes it low underneath Fapsa, but he does recover in time.
Really nice recovery mid-air, but they've still got a danger to deal with, and that's a hurried clearance that doesn't really go anywhere. Rizex looking to 1v3, and Neon escorts this sideways. Speed, and ultimately leaving it to Fabso. Simas intercepts, but look at that. The rest of Team 1 have retreated back. Oh, that's beautiful from Rexo. Commits the save at least from Speed, and it's up to him to carry it out and into the blue half. Looking far more accomplished in the midfield from the Blues.
Midfield hold under control, but every time they move forward, they send 2 people and they leave their third sort of sold on the back line. Fapsa has to do mighty
Incredible
work. Rexo helps him out. The defense that was shockingly atrocious in game 1, still not looking completely watertight, but my god, it's looking improved.
Speed in field. Oh, you saw the play. How did you miss? And that again, Rizex looking for the bump, but Fabso with the save. It's hearty, it is stout, and it's defense that is certainly exciting to look for us as the neutrals. I'm not sure it's so exciting to be a part of, but Team 1 sort of flapping at the wind, snatching at opportunities. It remains 1-0. Will it remain 1-0? No, it isn't. Oh, it's another chance that goes a begging for RFN, but they're going to be happy with the clean sheet for now.
Happy with a clean sheet, even though on the other end there was an opportunity there. Simas, the shot from the second row, going to find its master in Fapso, who's looking to get Neon involved. That's an awkward little read for the defense, and Fapso is going to make it 2 from 2.
Again, backboard defense really lacking. Neon only spikes it up, and Rizex is caught in 2 minds here. He either has to go for it, or he's got to understand that there's going to be a shot oncoming thereafter, so he's got to make it nearer the goal mouth. It's a second of delay. It's a second too much. Simas misses the save, and it is 2-0 RFN.
2-0 RFN after holding tight on defense. They find their counterattack and they move up forward. Now, I think we've seen the game plan. Game plan that has come crashing down, but they stuck with it, and now they can finally reap the reward. Speed. So for Team 1 looking for Rizex, meeting no one. In the end, the game now slowing down. Both teams more methodical in their approach, not trying to overpower each other, trying to break each other down.
Rexo, adventurous, really adventurous. Shot towards target, demo, and a miss. And now it's Rizex. He pops it up. Neon trying to cover this, does so. Doesn't cover the second shot. No one there in glory except Speed, who at least halves the deficit.
No help here from Neon, and also he lands on top of Rizex, denying him the second shot at blocking Speed. Good placement there from Rizex's car, and in the end, it's a 2-1 now. It's nervous time again for the RFN defense against a T1 that's still looking rather confident, even though they have found some problems here in game 2.
The balancing act is a fine one, looking to keep control of the midfield, look for those passing opportunities, and I guess most crucially not give the ball away. Rizex was looking for a bump, and Simas registers a shot. Is another one oncoming, maybe. Meeting in the middle of the corner. Simas, great save from Fabso. Rexo follows up on this ball, chases it, but doesn't really capture it under his spell. Speed now to Rizex, in field. There's no third player. Simas is miles back.
Simas miles back, and he doesn't get the challenge either, allowing RFN to move out Fapso. That's just wasting possession for RFN. They have to move back instantaneously. Rexo now with Neon. Once again, the duo has played together for so long this time. They don't find the connection, they don't find the power shot, but it's all wasting time and the clock is firmly in their favor.
Definitely overthinking there from Neon, but then again, it's an extra second wasted off the clock, and all of those will eventually add up. There's 35 left for the team in orange to find themselves an equalizer. Team 1 looking so dominant in game number 1, but I'm delighted to confirm that my prophecies have been proven true. RFN, they've cleaned up on defense, they've taken chances, but here's another one for Team 1, and again, they're all forced back. That boost expenditure, too egregious.
Too egregious, too aggressive from Team 1 as 2 players are hunting people in net. No one is there for an infield pass. Speed now trying to find the heroics on 0 seconds with the time clocking down. Rizix, another good challenge in the corner. Rexo standing firm, and now just a Neon to drop it. Simas keeps it alive, goes around the world, finds Rizix on the flank. This is not over until that ball has touched the ground. Speed, oh, it's just slightly too high.
My goodness, that was an excellent attempt from Team 1 to at least throw it to overtime. But RFN are on the board that matters the most, at least that being the points board for the overall series. And you can see there just from the shot counter, a far closer game. Team 1 still with the majority, but RFN making the majority of theirs count.
And right now, it's that game. It is that clash of styles. It's RFN who are happy to sit back, who are happy to let Team 1 come to their half. I mean, we can see it by the field domination, 62% in favor of Team 1, but they don't seem rattled at the moment. They've figured out where to rotate in, how to move the next ball, and they've also taken our advice there. They don't feel sorry for themselves if they just have to boom it out to get some breathing space.
It was absolutely the right call, ultimately. And I think, honestly, they could have possibly scored more as well. The quality of chance that they created was far better than the number of quality chances that Team 1 created. Very much a throw at the wall and, well, don't see which one sticks, but see which one makes it actually through the wall and ends up in a goal. But this is no time for Team 1 to panic either. Yes, RFN, they're back in the series, but Team 1 still have that overriding quality. And look, if you're going to throw almost double the amount of shots on target as your opponents, more than often, you'll see the balance restore itself in the end.
Eventually, in the end, it's going to work out if you're just that oppressive, if you're just keeping your opponent this much restrained to their own side. Defense can't hold forever, but RFN is certainly going to make it look like it will, with Rexo 50ing his way through the midfield. Neon, that's a brilliant touch over Rizix. Does he have the boost? No, Simas will come and intercept. An early opportunity gone awry for RFN.
Tell you what is forever, diamonds, and there's certainly been a couple of eyebrow raising diamond moments in defense for both sides. Let me tell you that for sure. Speaking of, so at least watching the trajectory of this one, Simas manages to bully his way through the challenge. Neon's ready to pick it up on the receiving end. Speed, likewise, looking for the dunk. Fabso goes sideways. Really smart play, aerially speaking. What about Rizix? He lands underneath the ball awkwardly. Wins the follow-up challenge, bumped out the way. Camped in this far corner. Our Team 1 is the clearance out. It's the demo through from Neon. Looking for a second, not going to find it. Back into the center. Fabso slows it down. Great defense, however, from Simas, holding it up for just enough.
Holding up for just enough, and now the counter. Rizix left on his lonesome, though. With Rexo able to get it out. Simas, nearly bumped away. The net is open. Does Neon have the read? Yes, he does. Just in the nick of time. Rexo has come in for seconds. Fabso already there. It's again pressure on the side of RFN, but they're dealing with it beautifully. Always one player to rotate in just in the nick of time.
But it's already such a step up again from game number 1, where their defensive movements are so much more solid. There's a lot more purpose behind it, and the transitional phase as well, much stronger. But how about this from Team 1? Rexo has just spawned back in. Lovely read, takes to the center circle, and that's over Speed despite getting a piece of it through the corner. Rizix misses, that's Fabso trying to dunk, and it's Simas to the rescue again.
No one actually thought that Rizix might miss it, and on the other side, Rizix does it all by himself. Aerial bump on his fellow countryman, puts it through 1-0 for Team 1.
Real yo-yo sort of a game, but that was the moment there. He did all the hard work getting around the first defender, but it's that final snuff on Neon that makes it Team 1 1-0. And for all of their hard graft, RFN have got it all to do. Still majority of the game left, and Rizek certainly won't want to be hanging around in his final third, or his own third, I should say, for too much longer. Neon throwing it again to the backboard, but really nice adjustment here from Team 1 to just slow RFN down and whittle away that confidence once more.
And the problems for RFN in Game 1 has specifically been the duality between Fapso and Rexo that hasn't been working, and Rexo again struggling with Rizex's touch. Simas an open walk-in, but that recovery from Rizek is just filthy good.
Am I going to return to my original joke? Yes, I am. That was no diamond, all rough. You never, ever want to commit. I know you're the third guy there, but you're in such an awful starting position that, realistically speaking, the odds are better if you just backpedal and force Team 1 to think about where they're ultimately going to place the shot rather than what ultimately happened, which is put it on target. And you're going to score guaranteed 2-0, and it's once again a sinking feeling for RFN.
A sinking feeling, but one they might be feeling more comfortable with given their Game 2 performance. The speed just lets that one slide by. And RFN, again, finding themselves on defense. Now Fapso has Rexo as an option, goes solo. No one to oppose him. Speed now darts up high to his level. Shot from Neon, cheeky little attempt, but both Simas and Rizex more than ready for it.
Where have the big booming clears gone? They tried to be fancy, they held it up too long, they tried to get the shot away. It was a slice, it was tepid. And Team 1 threatening for a third more than RFN are threatening for a first on the board. Just 90 seconds left now. Team 1 looking as comfortable as they really were in that first 5-minute period.
And Team 1 once again on the backboard, on the defense, looking solid. Rexo this time around finds his confidence in the 50s, finds his confidence in the challenge, and immediately moves the ball down the pitch. Neon met in the air by speed, and confidence is just one factor for RFN. I haven't seen enough of. Only one that seems confident seems to be Fapso after his Game 1 worries. He says like, okay, I need to recover, and I have. Rexo and Neon need to follow suit. They need to find the confidence in the pre-jump. They need to push Team 1 more. They need to make them struggle a bit more, fight more to get out of defense.
You see Team 1, there's definitely been a conscious call not to go all bombastic. It all looks very fantastic, I agree, but ultimately getting this one over the line is the most important one. It's Rexo just kills on the lot. No time to be calm now.
Where's the confidence? There it is. Rexo, 85 kph. Without humor, just puts it in dry, crispy, a very crispy shot. And suddenly, RFN are back within a sniff.
Where's Gary Chalk? Because that was just prime in not just the quality of the goal, but the timing as well. Tick-tock goes the clock. RFN striding forward, but they lose possession easily. Fabso looking to reset that artillery battery through Neon, but it's straight to Simas. The cutting from Rexo, it's aggressive, it's punchy, but it's lacking direction yet again. They've got to try and get it goalward bound, but speed is there, throws it to the side. It hits the floor. Team 1 survive.
They hold on and they regain their series lead. But still, it's not as comfortable as some might think it would be on paper between, well, 3 RLCS level players and 3 bubble players in the face of RFN, who are giving a good account of themselves, even though there are still improvements to be made and improvements that they know they have in their back pocket.
It's just a shame that RFN really only turned up for like the first minute and the last minute. That middle period is ultimately what has cost them the game. And it wasn't as bad a performance as, say, Game 1, which was, and we have to, be really clear on this, it was bad. But it just, I don't know, it lacked quality, and I think it lacked creativity. And I think most crucially for me, Mucked, is they went away from what was serving them so well in game number 2.
They they try to be fancier with it. They found confidence and they try to use that confidence mechanically, which is not a series that this just lends itself into. This is not the series where you can pop off mechanically. This is a series where you really have to grind out your opponent, where you really have to show some grit. Again, very Germanic in that sense. It's not pretty, but it's very brutal. Just get a leg in there and try to stifle your opponent as well as possible.
What is, I mean, look, it's the stereotype, isn't it? Everybody knows what it is because we're all European and we all like to take the mick out of each other. It's all about that German efficiency. Look, you can be as fancy as you like, just get the goal. You know, get the goal and then look to style. You live and you learn. It's game number 4 and a chance now for potential match point scenario, and it started very well indeed for Rizx45.
Rizx finding himself bumped, but using it to his advantage. Turning back in slowly, then quickly, leaving Thapso wrong-footed in the face of a shot barreling on his own net. It's a 1-0, it's an early lead, and the one that plays fully into the hands of Team 1.
Thapso looking to go back to Neon after that challenge. Speed back pedals. Up high in the sky, claimed by Simas. Falls very gracefully, and ultimately it's all looking a bit too good for Team 1 as that ball reaches the backboard and is handed over to the Blues. It's Neon intercepted and dismissed by Simas. Rexo forced into the backflip, and despite having no boost, the fact that Simas has been able to hold up the play as long as he did really does show the mentality of the two different teams right now.
Really does. It's just the confidence that both teams have in the midfield. And there's one. There's a big booming clear from Thapso. We're looking for that. Team 1 immediately under trouble and immediately under pressure as Rexo finds the 50 and it goes straight in.
That's much needed. It's much needed because Team 1 was notably sitting deeper, again adapting from the errors gone by, but that was a full send from Rexo, betting more on the possibility than the probability. It goes in. RFN simply have to take that goal and run with it now.
Take the goal, take the momentum, and don't concede right after kickoff speed. But the shot that's saved at the end by Neon. Once more, it's a quick counterattack here for RFN. Disregarded though by Speed, who just bullies his way through with 0 boost. Doesn't give a care in the world. He has 0 boost. 0 boost, 0 problems is what they say. 0 boost, many problems for Rizx on that shot though.
Tripping over each other ultimately. So here's Neon. A little 100 boost steal from Speed. Watch out for that. As Rexo has to give it up again. Speed. And it goes under him via Rexo. Rizx has to be careful, and that's exactly why. Oh, what an interplay from RFN, taking the lead with aplomb.
Look at that 50 from Thapso. It's so good. And look at the positioning from Rexo as well. That was just perfectly communicated, choreographed, and executed by RFN.
And it's nice to see RFN winning more challenges than not. I think the lion's share of them have gone the way of TFN, and of course it's not just about RNG, it's about how you position the car, how aggressive you're running into the challenge, the speed, the demo potential. And RFN, a little bit out of nowhere, a little bit against the run of play, honestly. Whether it is luck-based or whether there is a mindful presence to do a little bit more in that area, it's working for them. Halftime comes and goes.
Halftime goes away. Rizx trying to find some magic. The side wall read. Easily defended and cleared away by Rexo. Simas is going to go for second pickings. But once more, there's an RFN defender that's more than capable to deal with it. Neon, great recovery, has an open net. Can he find it? Yes, he can. 3-1. And that's RFN as it stands in the book. Soak up pressure, then fight the counter.
It's the most helpless feeling in the world when you are just half a second away from getting a touch on the ball. Even if Rizx had been half a second ahead of the position where he was, there was no guarantee that he could have saved it. The angle was simply too sharp. It might just have been an OG. But RFN saying GG's, much better GG's. Yes, there's 2 minutes left to navigate, sure, but things once again on the up tide, and Team 1, the ones needing to find a goal and 2.
to find at least 2-4 in overtime. But now, with the lead and with how RFN have been playing in this entire series, happy to sit back, happy to soak up the pressure. This is now their game to lose. Let's see if the boys can handle the pressure or if they perhaps falter down to it. We said it before, pressure makes diamonds. We've seen a lot of diamond-esque plays maybe in this series already, more than we would have liked to. But right now, the pressure that is certainly going to be mounting is going to show the quality that RFN have to offer. Neon, quicker than Rizix in that occasion.
Oh, pump. Very dangerous, and Rexo alert to the danger. Over speed. Simas. Lofted towards the backboard, no danger. And Fabso with the clearance. 60 seconds now. 2-goal lead. Team 1 needs something now, but it's going to go the other way. Oh, speed. Massive lift onto the backboard. Invites more pressure from RFN. Going straight towards net was Neon. Fabso calls off his teammates, but Simas sees a way through the storm. 100 pickup. No bump on Rexo. He avoids that carnage.
And crucially, Rexo gets a pass speed as well on the sidewall, relieving a lot of pressure, relieving a lot of tension here for RFN. Pull the clock and the time ticking away. Rexo keeping the ball in the opponent's corner. Neon a little bit overzealous there on his challenge, tries to get back to it. Simas doesn't make the contact he would have wanted. 20 seconds, it's a bump, it's a shot, it's high from speed.
Yeah, they've left it a little too late, Team 1. And Rizex is going to be stymied. Simas heads to the midfield line, and Neon didn't even have to get a piece of it. Rexo was there. I think you picked up on it really nicely, Marked. Positionally speaking, a marked improvement in all areas of the pitch for RFN. They tie up the series yet again.
Yet again, they go down, and yet again, they find the spirit and the fight in themselves to make Team 1 bleed. A 3-1, possibly the most comfortable of the wins, bar game 1. I just think I think we should disregard game 1. That never happened. But it still looked very comfortable for RFN. And the point I wanted to pick up on earlier is the way Fabso has been playing in particular. This performance reminds me of that series where he won the CRL World Championship. It looks confident, it looks in control, and it looks just like he has the read on his opponent, and that's a Fabso that you don't want to face if you're Team 1.
Here's the thing though, Mark. Don't forget Game 1. Game 1 happened for a reason, and a lot of what has come good for RFN is learning quickly off the back of such horrible mistakes and such a real downer of a performance. They could have seen that Game 1 and crumbled under the pressure. They've actually galvanized. And even this Game 4 recognized where it went wrong again in Game number 3. And they fixed those mistakes too. Now, of course, the trouble for RFN at this stage is they've got to go ahead and win before Team 1 do. So it's Game 5. No more opportune time.
They have to flip the script. They have to win 2 in a row at some point. This flippity-floppity back and forth is going to work out in Team 1's favor eventually, given that we have an odd number of games to decide the series on. RFN, you've shown it that you can come back, but can you actually lead by example? Can you actually go in front this time around?
Jedi Canyon. Specifically the Oasis variant. No Oasis of chances for either side, and it's worth noting actually that all 4 games that we have witnessed thus far, it's Team 1 with the majority of shots on target, but quality will always beat out quantity in Rocket League between 2 teams as closely matched as RFN and Team 1. And how about this for quality? It's a nice carry from Neon. And it's into the corner, but ultimately the chance goes a-begging.
Chance goes bang, but again it's Rexo coming in from the sky.
Wait a
Rexo! Danish dynamite!
I put the phone down too early. I was just about to win the grand prize, and, well, Rexo has claimed it for himself. Rizex, that's not the first time that he's been half a second away from at least attempting to deny a goal-scoring opportunity. RFN, now that is a shot in the arm if I've ever seen one.
That's something to build onto this game, and Neon trying to elevate his game, trying to be fancy. And once more, the fanciness eludes this particular series. As Simas Goes up high into the skies, has Rizzy as an option, doesn't use him. Double flip reset denied by Neon.
That's a lovely touch, isn't it? As long as they get it in the end. That's what's most important, speed. And Neon throws it away. Simas back into the area, across the area to Rizex. Infield once more. Looking for the pass to speed. He could not receive. Interception too hasty from RFN. And Simas loses control. That's going to hit the backboard where Rizex lies in wait.
We've talked a lot of the adaptations that RFN has been able to make during that series, but TEAM1, no slouches themselves, have found the aggressive play to be working. Have always been sending one player towards a goalie. This time they don't need to. Speed shot with enough hatred and enough velocity at the target.
It's just really nice from Team1 in the sense of they're committing the play. Oh, wait a second though. Wait a second though. A call from RFN. Pause, they say. Now, is it a pause and we're going to remain at 1-1? Or is it a pause because the issues happened before 1-1? That is a tricky call for the ref on this occasion.
It's a quick pause as well, called immediately by Neon. And I might remind you, Neon was in that corner trying to make a play on the ball. Maybe his internet already acted up. Maybe it didn't. We can only speculate. I don't know what's exactly going to be happening. But if we just assume it stands this way, does this pause actually disrupt Team1? Or does it help it to regain and not fall prey to a quick kickoff goal answer?
I don't think there was too much significant momentum for either team, Mark. It's actually one of those rare instances where, because usually I'd agree with you, I'd say, oh, they've stopped the momentum or this or that, but it's been such a seesaw series and each individual game never really having too much of a flow to it that honestly, I don't think the pause is going to make too much difference. But let's talk about the differences being made in other series while we're here. Fake SK Gaming up against Noob. That's currently a 2 apiece as well. So, in fact, that's actually the same scoreline looking down towards the another one of our quarterfinals, Hogan Mode Gat. That's also at 2-2. In fact, the only non-2-2 result is the only result which has come to a conclusion. That's DOP Esports 4-0ing CMS. What happened to the Spaniards and Catalysm?
What happened to the Spaniard and the one guy that's specifically not Spanish? Well, they got dopped.
Wow.
Is, I think, the easiest way to... Sizen, Astral, and Drali. Yeah, that looks very, very good indeed. A 4-0 sweep over CMS. That's no slouches either. They know they're going to have a long pause, though, because, as you say, every other game currently sitting at 2-all. It's a fight out there. It's probably the closest RSO overall that we've seen.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, look, it's a bubble tournament.
Yeah,
I love seeing...
And it's Europe.
And it's Europe. I love seeing Team Vitality. Don't get me wrong. Watching Zen is a privilege, whether you're casting or just an audience member. I love the closeness of it. People are like, oh, what do we want to see him? And it's like, well, I want to see these players that could potentially look towards next season and say, we're going to be part of that RLCS conversation. That's exactly the point of Rising Stars Odyssey. It's about rising stars. It's in the name. And just to give you an update, by the way, since I'm sure a couple of you might have joined and thought, why on earth are these guys just talking? Is Rocket League not Talk It League, so on and so on? Huge discussion going on in our in-game chat between both teams and the referee, still trying to come to a conclusion. But to update you on the series scoreline, of course, it's 2 apiece. We're in game 5. It was 1-1 when we left the scene. I think we might be actually just about to go now with 1-1 remaining the case marked. So really important for Team 1 as they've gotten an equalizer.
1-all still stands, and the ping seems to be working. It is alive. And Neon immediately taking to the skies after restarting his game. Got the flip reset. Rexo supporting his German brethren. Unfortunately for now, nothing gained from it for RFN. This is seemingly everything has to be, and everything has resolved for RFN, so we will have a clean and competitive series going forward. Rexo, oh, what a pass! Oh, the shot is good as well, but Speed was wise to it, blocking the bottom corner.
More in hope, I think, than confidence to get a piece of it. Double commit on the backboard has been a problem area for Team 1 all series long. Rexo rides over this challenge. Infield, nobody there. Everyone back for boost. Long clearance from Team 1. Demo from Team 1. Pass not able to leave the car of Speed. Rexo intercepted by Speed. Excellent recovery run. Neon now misses that second touch, and Speed seems to be at the center of everything as things stand. He saved an almost certain goal, and he drives his team forward again.
Speed trying to be the catalyst for the offense of Team 1 as Neon faded by Simas. Fabso, that's a brilliant infield pass, read though by Simas. Speed once more, the two S's trying to combine as Rizex is taking a back seat and letting his teammates go for it. Rexo, a little double commit with Fabso. Neon is going to have to take it to the side, take some control, and finds a pinch over Speed. That's going to allow some offense. That's not going to result. There it is. That is going to result in the 2-1 lead.
So much respect for Neon. Saw the 100 boost, decided no, the challenge is my priority. One hell of a cooks a pinch later, and it's almost undefendable for Team 1. Okay, the initial shot should have been on target, but the important thing is that the team believed. 2-1.
2-1 in favor of RFN. We've said it at the start of this game. If RFN want to win, they have to flip the script at some point. And they're 80 seconds away from just doing exactly that. Speed has Rizex to his side. Rizex went away in search of an RFN defender, didn't find one, is now back for second pickings and will pick off the defense.
That was a real uh-oh moment. It all starts with Fabso missing that challenge. And Neon, the moment that that card dipped to the left, contextually speaking, on the backboard, was the moment that that goal was guaranteed to be hitting the back of the net. Had to maintain that trajectory just to make both cars as wide as possible, to cover as much area as possible. It's a shame, but we enter the final minute on tenterhooks.
Final minute, literally nothing separating these two teams as Neon finds an amazing challenge to the side. Absolutely continue, but once more. Right now, RFN struggling to find the hard clear, to find the long boom. Rexo taking control, finds the drill pass one. That ball deep inside the corner and deep inside the territory of Team 1.
Oh, Fabso, I don't know why you went for that. Had possession and handed it right back. Fabso makes up for it somewhat on the defensive side. Speed. Oh,
team
and a team bump. Rexo, it's Rizex. Rizex all on his own. Neon flaps at the ball off to the side. Might be heading to our first OT of the series, remarkably speaking, given how close the two sides have been. But there's one more chance here, maybe for Simas. Wait, carries. Rexo having absolutely none of it. What about Speed? Too slow for Rexo, who's too fast for his opponent. Rizex hands it to Speed, and Rexo there to spike it down. Overtime, game number 5.
RFN can thank their lucky stars. No overcommit on defense, and now a brilliant kickoff in favor of them. Simas starting up high, Neon second shot. Pass a little bit too far forward, the shot a little bit too far back, so it was really the worst of the two that he could possibly have had. Fabso then intercepted, but it's good pressure early on in this OT after the initial kickoff period. Team 1 still not able to clear their own lines. Rexo's shot, he whiffs, he finds a bump. Fabso to make it 3.
Sometimes the goals are the failures that we make along the way. Fabso benefiting off a complete misdirect run from Rexo. Intentional or not, he's not going to care. But as soon as that overtime clock clicked into gear, RFN had Team 1 in a chokehold. And that is exactly what we can say for this series as well. Match point scenario.
Match point RFN. How? We don't quite know, but it certainly has happened, and it's on the back of a strong performance from Rexo in particular, who every time he goes towards the ball, every time he is stranded and he's low on boost, he just finds a way to find a chance, to find a 50, to find the opponent, or to just threaten them. And that's what giving RFN that oomph in offense.
It's not just about the series scoreline, which sees RFN on the front foot for the first time this series, talking about the macro of the situation. It's the first time this series that RFN have actually outshot their opponents. And I fear for Team1 now, because you can tell that they've been making these micro adjustments throughout the series, going from that outrageously outlandish attacking press to something which resembles normality, but is actually working against them. They've invited RFN back into the game to the extent where it's no longer about the long clears. They can afford to drive the ball out, keep that possession close to their chest. On Neo Tokyo, this whole thing could be decided. Team1 have got to show up.
Team1 have got to show up. They've been so conditioned by RFN with those long clears to cover the backboard, to be really deep, that now the midfield is just entirely open. Play conditioning is something that we rarely talk about in Rocket League, but it finds its full effect here by RFN as Rexo. One long clear, one free backboard, but the double tap not on target.
Lone Wanderer up there, but here's Neon with an idea of his own. Crisscrossing defense from Team1. And it's enough to put off RFN for now. Speed. Oh, wow. Pocket picked immediately. Simas, poor position to begin with. Nice recovery. Here's Fabso. Fabso. And that's batted away. A little bit of relief, a little bit of time for Team1 to, again, just try and figure out where they are actually at this point in time.
I'm sure they don't quite know, but they're on the receiving end of the counterattack. That's what I can tell you for sure. Fabso taking to the skies, past speed, has Rizex to speed, but that 50 is never going to go Fabso's way.
It's behind the defensive line. Simas forced back yet again. So much. We talked about the boost expenditure in the offensive side of things for Team1 in game number 1, but over the course of the series, they've been pushed back and pushed back and pushed back to the extent where they're expending a lot more boost than they would actually need to. If their rotations were anywhere close to standard, RFN finding so much free space. Is it only a matter of time before they score?
Might just be, given the history, and Neon finds that answer. He finds the perfect plays. And it was, again, a bit apropos of nowhere. There wasn't anything choreographed by RFN. There wasn't anything to show that, they might just find a way through. They might find a chink in the armor. No, again, it came as a surprise out of the corner. And it's what's been working for RFN so well, the surprise shots.
Oh, I do love it when a plan comes together. This is another good plan. And oh, what a save from Rizex. But here's Fabso. What a dastardly touch near the backboard. Neon towards net. Simas gets enough of this, finds Rizex. They've got to score off this, surely, if they want to have a little bit of hope. No, they found a demo on the way out, but immediately the counterattack. Rexo, no second touch, and this game was opened wider.
Now it's a complete different series to the one we've seen before. It's much more back and forth. It's immediate, it's quick, it's snappy, and it's on Rexo to get a good shot. Double commit, at least forced by the Dane as Fabso puts it back center again too high. Where can RFN find the surprise shot? Where can RFN move through the opposing defense? Not here.
Team1, they've gone from barking mad to, what the dog doing? Because seriously, they're all looking at each other and they're like, why are you there? It's completely destroying
Neon.
any hope of counterattack. Whereas RFN keep on gobbling them up.
Too much space, too much time, and too much skill on the side of the duo. Rexo finding his teammate, Neon Central, who will not let that one go awry.
2-0. 2 minutes and change. 2 goals to find for Team1. And you gotta say, it's looking less likely by the second, but that's a wonder bump. And Simas has been basically hand-wrapped a goal to get them back into game 5.
And as it so often was, Rizex taking on the mantle of enforcer, looking constantly for an RFN defender in net, and this time his bumps actually pay dividend at the right time, at the proper time for Team 1. Rizex once more has a free backboard to play with Rexo, so close on the angle, does exactly that, but has 0 boost now to his name.
So caught up in the twos, I forgot what game we were on, but one thing is for sure, that's an open-looking net, and Speed has to cut across the way. Simas in field, leaves it, and neither player ultimately does much with it. Neon, Rexo, spikes back centrally. And I was thinking Rizex was surely going to pick this one up. No, Simas takes responsibility, moves forwards. Neon, nice second touch, it runs away from Speed. He gets a piece of it now, no boost. The Neon still present, high press, Rexo, and Simas needed to be defensively minded.
Needed to be, and was, in the end, defensively minded enough. For Team 1, who are now slowly but surely moving into offense against Simas. Over 1, Neon on the backboard, finding no one but his opponent. Rizex does a beautiful layup from Rizex onto Simas. The shot equally brilliantly saved. A demo and a goal. Speed for the equalizer.
It's a real stuttering momentum shift from Team 1, but it actually works to their favor. The initial tee up into the shot was excellent, but it's what they did thereafter, finding the demo, which opens up a far better shooting avenue to ultimately bring themselves back on par with RFN. Now, what are RFN made of? They scored 2 goals. They've been pulled back. Can they find that third? That straw that breaks the proverbial camel's back to take the series home?
Well, they certainly would like to find that third in regulation rather than OT, as Rizex is once again behind enemy lines with a beautiful redirect, this time not a demolition in sight. Simas makes it awkward. Neon, long clear. There we go for RFN. Back to the old tried and tested ways of the long booming ball. If you don't know what to do, just hit it really hard.
I might be heading towards winter, but there is an unmistakable spring in the step of Team 1 all of a sudden. Fabso, you can see just how much of an anchor he had to play like in order to ensure that there was no goal going in. Had to be aware on the backboard as well. Strong presence from Fabso in these final seconds. One last chance for Team 1. Otherwise, it's a consecutive overtime to Rizex. Wrong place, wrong time. 2-2 overtime.
And that pass from Simas on the dying seconds of Game 6 was so good. It was so well executed. Rizex simply wasn't ready. Rexo on the backboard, though, is ready. Now do we see a counterplay from Team 1. We've seen the domination after kickoff and OT from RFN last game. This game, it goes firmly in the favor of Team 1.
Find bumps or demos, RFN. They gotta find bumps or demos because Team 1 is avoiding all of them. And it's enabling them to set up much better opportunities. Looking forward, it's Rexo. Speed off the backboard to Neon. Speed claims the 100. And Simas was perhaps looking for Speed, who decided inexplicably to move back into a more defensive position. Here he is again, and gets past the midway line. Simas chases, but it's firmly in blue hands.
It already has switched hands from blue to orange, as Simas at least tried to get some control. Will fail in his effort. Speed granted a lot of time. Fabso in the midfield, just waiting for his opponent to come to him. Simas quicker than the player in blue. Neon finds an immaculate touch there to throw off Simas. Once more, it's now got into the stage of non-volatility. It's now going into the stage of, okay, we need to break each other down once more.
Team 1 looking for the pre-reads and finding a lot of success. Demo on Neon. Completely blows the midfield wide open. Rizex, Neon, Simas. Fabso challenges, misses. Rexo buys a lot of time and then some. A little bit directionless from Speed. Neon sees Simas ahead of him and gets over him too. Beats Rizex towards the target. And that flies out, an unfortunate touch for the Blues.
Who has the clairvoyance in this utter manic chaos between the 6 players on the pitch to find that one special moment. Maybe it is this man, maybe it is Neon with a flip reset to himself. It's beaten by Speed, no fake to be had. And now the defense of RFN has to stand firm. Rexo finding Fabso in his own corner.
It was inventive, I'll put it that way. Had to use a lot of boost to enact that maneuver. And it's all kind of come to naught as Team 1 set up their siege yet again. Crossfield, Rexo sees a way through the storm. Dimas takes the ball as his own. Oh, lovely turn from Rexo. Opportunity. Rexo waits. Speed challenges. Neon wide. Rexo still lurking. It's a miss from Fabso. Rexo has to get this right. Kind of. Here's Simas. His friends are back in town. Speed goes sideways. On target, no, just wide.
Well played shot from Rizex, but he tried to make it too accurate. On the back post, there's bumps on the goal line. Fabso is there. Oh, so is Simas, but he slightly, ever so slightly, misses contact. And Rexo is able to clear their lines. 3 minutes of overtime have come and gone. Still, nothing separating these two sides.
Warning shot after warning shot. Is this the Enterprise? Because it feels like we're in full-on red alert right now. And the shields are most certainly up on that blue goal, because how they've not been scored upon is beyond me. It's a loose ball into no man's land. Fabso doesn't get the greatest pinch, but at least wins the challenge. Moves forward. Rizex, 100 steal. Intercepted by Speed. It's all 6s and 7s for both sides. Nobody able to string together more than 2 passes.
It's one touch, and then the ball's most likely gone. Rizex gets it over 2 for a change. Simas only Fabso to beat. Only Fabso, but Fabso is a class player and a world champion at that.
My word, the opportunity was staring him right in the face to go and engage proactively. Holds his nerves, holds his ground, pays off for it big time. It's another spin of the roulette wheel for both of these sides. Who's going to come up on black? And who's going to be stuck on green? Who's going to get that green light, more importantly, into the semi-final is the question. Almost 5 minutes of overtime. Shot, and it's wide from RFN.
Once again, Neon and Rexo combining for a dangerous counter-attack. Fabso almost exclusively in this overtime, trying to mirror Speed, trying to be that defensive stand against the opponent. As that very man, Speed, beats Neon in the midfield. Ball given up way too easily in position, wasted by RFN and Fabso.
Counter-attack was really stifled by the ceiling of all things for Team 1. Speed. Ooh, finds its way past Neon.
Net.
Speed. Nice challenge. Oh, and a massive save again from Fabso. He has been a man mountain in the middle.
His 5th save of the game. The Guardian Angel for RFN. Maybe the one with the least experience this time, though. It's Rexo Fabso to the side. RFN are swimming, but right now they are holding on for dear life.
I didn't realize that Rexo was playing from a pond. Practically fished the ball out of his own net for Fabso to then complete the clearance. 2-2. You can tell both sides know how much this one will mean. It's either game 7 or go home for Team 1. Simas, second touch, that's a bit too high for anybody to really make much of. They wait for it to fall groundward. Speed up high, over the top of Neon. Fabso bumps, there's the chance! Oh, it's Speed, can you believe it? Floor, crossbar, no goal!
No goal, now the counter, they have to be wary. It's Neon on the backboard, denied by Simas. The ball still in danger zone as we have now 6 minutes of overtime, 2 for the price of 1 game of Rocket League. Neon, Simas' touch goes awry once more, flip reset, goes under, takes it away, finds the bump. Fabso, what a miraculous save from Speed.
Oh, he might not score down the other end, but that's possibly the most important save of his series thus far. It's Speed again, nice crunch against the backboard, and it's Simas! 3-2, game 7!
Ooh, Speed, heroically on defense, unmistakably good on offense. Simas finds the angle over Neon as well, and a 6-minute overtime relic finds its conclusion. And of course, it had to be game 7.
He's just a silly dude. He's just a silly dude. But let us, I think rightly, shine the spotlight on Speed. I threw this guy under the bus immediately. I'm like, RFN are going to win because Speed. But you know what? Despite Speed not getting the glory for himself with that overtime winning goal, it was his activity in the transitional phases which make the difference. Okay, you come really close, but you've already set panic stations amongst RFN. It's then a fantastic assist to Simas, who has to stretch, sure, but gets there in the end. That's why you bank on your teammates to make those plays. And we head to Champions Field.
As soon as that overtime started, Speed really given up the mantle and given up the vibe of, I am not going to lose this overtime. We will force this onto game 7. Whatever happens there, happens there. But Speed simply refused to lose. And that's one of the great mental qualities that Speed can really bring to a roster, where he can hold it together. He can hold the comms together. He can hold the roster together. And that's what he's been doing right now. He is that glue. RFN, if they want to win, need a way to remove him from the pitch.
They effectively went, how long was it in the end? 8 minutes or so without a goal? I don't know. That's a tough one to bounce back from, but we're going to have to see something. Fablo, oh, it's a complete discombobulation on the defensive side. Who was it at fault? It's so simple from Neon. Oh, Speed. The cape is burned in the wind. It's sucked into the jet engine and flying into the sky into the lead is Fabso 1-0.
From hero to zero. And even Fabso, that was probably the worst misread I've ever seen, but he still makes it work. Great reflexes, great intuition to get back to it for the opening goal. Champions Field. Fabso knows how this feels. Fabso knows how it feels to win on Champions Field. He will try to emulate that feeling that he had in Delaware with Rexo and Neon by his side this time around.
And it's Neon with a quick turn. Speed. The emotions going through his mind. Massive demo. Simas. It's an open net. Surely. Oh, surely not. That's so incredible.
It's a demo from Neon. One gets past me, ball or player, but never both. A bit dangerous on the back line, but in the end controlled well by the RFN defense. Simas. Hutch inviting the challenge of Rexo. Neon up high again. Flip reset used. Rizex waits patiently on the backboard. We've said it before, Relic. This game, not a game for mechanics. This game, not a game for individual brilliance. But maybe a game 7 can be where someone shines. Fabso trying to be that one player.
And every second really does count. RFN have that lead. It's theirs for the moment, but they've got to maintain it from the unrelenting ferocity of TEAM1. And in particular, this man, Simas, who has the ball really taken away from him, but he ran out of boost. So was there as much as he could do with it as possibly could? It's Simas sideways, straight onto the scene. It's Neon, finds it, goes into the center, loses it to Simas. Rexo from an attacking run to a defensive run, covers himself very nicely.
So it doesn't do all by himself there on defense. Neon, no double touch. So Simas can send the ball straight from whence it came. Even though Rexo's got a lot of time here, a lot of time. Rexo, what's he doing? He's aiming for that top corner, but guess who's already there? It's the veteran. It's the one with the most experience, probably. Rizex.
Using all of it just to place it, and talking about placement, lovely. Neon, good read to make the save. Rizex again, the demo, and Rexo seeing the absolute harpoon heading towards his teammate. Makes another good save, far side, and again, RFN with some true heroics out here on the battlefield.
The battlefield is burned, it's combusted, it's exploding in their faces, but they're not let it dampen their spirit, they're still holding on. Simas, once more Rizex playing enforcer this time, 2 defenders though, for RFN being back and saving that one to the side and to momentary safety. But that safety is quickly come and gone with Rizex taking to the skies. Fabso pre-jumping, gets a piece of the ball, and leaving Neon with a lot of time on his hands.
They're getting pummeled, they're getting bloodied, but they're not out just yet. Neon looking for the outrageous dunk. Rexo, it's left to Fabso, backboard, no double touch for him, Speed gets a piece of it, Simas on the chase, oh what a cheeky tuck from Rexo, pops it over one, Fabso in field, another challenge that stops this momentum going the way of TEAM1, this potentially the breakaway moment towards net, but not on target. How about this, back in field, Rizex up, and Neon's on hand this time around.
Neon just in the nick of time on hand, but once more, TEAM1 harassing any player that is on the goal line. Fapso's got Neon in support, uses him. 50-50 goes naturally. Where's Rexo? Is he up already? No, he's fallen back. Doesn't want to be the cause of the late equalizer by TEAM1. Goes up high now against Rizek. Oh, that's a beautiful drop down. Speed, wise to it, slams on the break, gets the ball out.
And again, that ball is heading backwards because of the just pure aggressiveness of these challenges. I love that RFN haven't just sat back. Yeah, they've had to sit back for periods, but whenever they've had the opportunity to break away, they've taken it with both hands. Fabso avoiding what would have been surely an equalizer bump. And when I say that, I mean it leads to the equalizer, of course. No 2-0 as Speed again. Calm head at the back, but they're running out of time, TEAM1.
Again, I've talked to you about this before. This is the Fapso that wants your words. This is the Fapso that doesn't want to lose here on Champions Field. Neon gets a piece of the ball. It's a 3v2 though. It's an power play situation. Speed comfortably challenged by both Rexo and Fapso, who just drives it down the length of the pitch. The bounce is in favor, and Rexo puts it home.
Lock it down and throw away the keys. It's a jailhouse rock for RFN. Their defense as sturdy as it has ever been. Poor timing for TEAM1. And that 2-0 scoreline puts an end to affairs. What a series here in the Rising Stars Odyssey, fourth set of quarterfinals. RFN are those who proceed to the semis.
If you want to beat RFN, you better do it before Game 7, because on Champions Field, they are a nuisance. They are a nightmare to play against and get a deserved win over TEAM1. And, I mean, look at who's MVP. It's Fapso.
Yeah. And rightly so. He was outstanding in those last two games. Absolutely outstanding. But you know who else is outstanding? And Mr. Jar of Jam, of course, our lovely host. Welcome back. I believe... Actually, no, we're not going to. We're not going to bring back Jar of Jam. Take the free compliment, Jam. We're going to head straight to a break. All of our semi-finals are set, and we'll see you then after this.